Welcome to Darzzr on Crater City. You find me under the ground in a abandoned mine shaft. Actually, I've been caving today, and I've been doing some other stuff as well, but I need to make my way up, and since I have no idea where I am, because I've stopped using the mini-map, at least for now, well, until 1.7 comes out, because I was hyper-aware that a lot of mods didn't seem to get updated, and I assumed that they were waiting for 1.7, and so I thought, well, we'll wait. I know I've got Forge and Optifine in, but nothing else really, so we will wait for the minimap. Now, that's all beside what's been going on, because, we must be pretty close to the top. Oh no, that must be ocean. Alright, let's go for it. Here we go. Oh, that's a long way up. Have I got my trusty bucket? Yes, I have. Okay, well, it's a bit dark, but bear with me. We'll be at the top of the ocean soon. Oh, I think that's that bit of land that's right next to some other bit of land. Now, I think that's the little island that's a little way out to the ocean, and Area 51 should be back in that direction. So, because I know this bit of ocean pretty well, because of the amount of clay I've been digging up. And there's a friendly skeleton, giving me a free arrow there. Off he goes. That looks like that should be a... Doesn't it? That looks like that could be a dungeon. So it's almost worth looking. I'm looking at that, wondering if that is a dungeon or not. Before I go back to Area 51, let me have a look. Oh dear. Right, I'm going to have a quick dig down here, just to see what's down here. It's probably nothing. It's not quite the right size, but you never know. You never know. It's always worth checking. Unless there's nothing down here, in which case it's not worth checking. There was nothing down here, it wasn't worth checking. Why did you make me do that? That was a complete waste of time. Right, let's go back up to Area 51 and see what's up there. Well, there's another skeleton. They're doing this just to annoy me now. Go away. Go away, go away. Right. And there's a spider there. Actually, why am I even doing this? I've got ender pearls. Right, ender pearl. Hey, off we go. Now, I've been adding a lot of bits and pieces to Area 51. And, yay! I can't, I'll just get in this way. Right, I've been adding a lot of pieces to Area 51. And first of all, with huge thanks to Miguel, I have completed the runways in terms of the clay, and I've actually got clay left over, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to give it back to Miguel, because I want clay in storage. I might want to make more runway. I might want to make more floor. I've been building other things, and I can't even remember what I had done last time. I know I've certainly changed the lighting on the runways, but around here we've now got these huts. These are sort of, well, barracks. I'm not quite sure what I should call them really, but they're huts. There's 6 of them, and they're supposed to be where the villagers live. Well, they don't live there yet. I'm going to build a little pathway for them to go up there, so that it will hopefully become part of the village. But I'll probably need to put some extra doors in to coax them down there. But you know, it's part of the overall development to link the village, which is, yeah, this is the radar station and sort of data processing area, with a living space. And then over here we've now got an expanded bit of this, because remember last time I had this odd building here. Well, I've carried on outwards with a similar design. Now, this doesn't yet have a floor. I'll probably do exactly what I did in the other one and just make it smooth stone. And this is currently the entrance. You can see it's pretty big. We've got this is the scaffolding that I put up when I was initially constructing it, but it actually works quite well as an interior support, so I've left it in, even though it is cobblestone. And I've made this tunnel, which is still a bit rough around the edges, but this leads into the old area, so they are really part of the same structure. Now, I did say I might dig out part of the middle of the mountain. Well, that's it. That's what I've done. This, of course, is where the mountain stopped. You can see here that I did indeed dig back part of the mountain to square that off, but I didn't go quite as nuts as I did last time. Also, I've levelled this bit as well. Right, what else have we got? Round here, nothing as yet, but I have taken seriously that idea of the robot hand, and I'm trying to think of ways that I could have that maybe come up and reach over the wall, possibly even to the rail track outside. That would be quite fun. And then we have this, and I've just noticed there's a problem with it, but I'll come to that in a sec. This is the electrical substation, and this has been a fair bit of work to convert what was a very rough piece of ground into danger high voltage. Now, of course, not all of this doesn't actually do anything. You don't carry any stray electricity beyond here. Carrying electricity is something that you have to be careful of. Go on, I want to eat something. I don't want to hit that fence with a bit of potato. Come on. So, electrical shock hazard, and yes, do not switch off UPS. That's the uninterruptible power supply. That's the energy reticulator. Really, I couldn't think of a better way of doing a neat little switch there. No protective clothing beyond this point. Yes, I have protective arrows in my chin. And so here we go. Zap. This is basically my sort of artistic interpretation of an electrical substation. Replacement electron. I know that somewhere, and again, I haven't been very smart about putting this in. I know I've got a spare terminal, because yes, I'm using... ever slightly odd, I'm using wooden fences for the pylons. I'm using hay bales as terminals, and for the wires I'm using glass, but I've noticed I've missed off a couple of terminals there, so those bits of glass actually just float in the air. So that's something I need to sort out, but I need to remember where I've actually put the terminals, which is a mystery. I'm pretty sure if I had some, because I was extending this, I've been basically routing all the power up out of here along straight lines, and drawing straight lines in glass panels in 3D is actually rather tricky. So that we've got one pair of lines that connect there, we've got another pair of lines that goes off there, and then one line zooms off over there and connects to that pylon on the top of the hut. That will eventually power, when 1.7 comes out, which should be tomorrow, it should power the large portal that will be there, which will be in an enclosed building. And once that's there, I'll then know how I'm going to turn around there. I'll then know how I'm going to run a little roadway up here, because I don't want it to obstruct the runway, but at the same time I want it to follow the terrain, because I obviously it's rather silly to have these at all different levels if the road is going to be about 3 blocks below them. So we then continue to see where this one goes. This powers the village, and it routes around here. I've actually lowered this hill to make this a bit smoother, and then it goes there and down onto that building. Originally I was going to have it going up towards the radar dish, but I thought, well, that would just mess up what is actually quite a nice design for that tower. Oh, and this is my temporary bridge. So there you go. That's latest developments. Now, where have I put those extra bits of hay bale? It could be anywhere, because you know, this is. I've got absolutely no planning around here. It's not even like it is at my house. There's just no planning any. Oh dear, I don't even know where I'm going, and I've sent that in the wrong direction. Well, there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get some wheat, and we'll make another set of hay bales. Now, my ongoing plans for the UFO still haven't started, because I keep forgetting really to go into creative and actually rough the thing out, and the fact that it's going to kind of be circular at an odd angle has been putting me off, because it's one of those things. It could just work out really well instantly, or it could be, you know, something that just takes forever to get right, and I've got to be in the mood. You know, that's a procrastinator talking there, and I'm not going to make any excuses for that, because this is supposed to be fun when it comes down to it. And the other thing that kind of puts me off is I know that I'm going to have to build this thing with that spawner in the middle, and I'm trying to think of ways that I can do that systematically without ending up surrounded by zombies, and also without destroying the spawner, because that would just be stupid. Which means it'll probably happen, but there you go. There we go. Now, where here is the nearest crafting table? I think the nearest crafting table is actually inside here. Now, I'm also aware I haven't done any episodes of Chain for quite a while, and again, I've been forgetting, and I did practice on Superior Soccer a bit, and I keep thinking, oh, I should do one of those. But also, I was watching some of those corruption videos by, oh, who is it? Hang on a sec, I need to check. Vinesource. Vinesource is the guy. Now I've looked, and he, if you haven't seen his channel, it's pretty good. He tends to have game ROMs that he runs in emulators, but he corrupts them first, so it's a bit of glitching. It's data bending, really, and it's a lot of fun. And I thought, I wonder how I could apply this to my BBC games. And what I've decided to do, and what I've actually been trying, is I got hold of his corruptor utility, which is geared up for Nintendo, and I loaded BBC Micro disk images into it. Now, in a way, that's trickier because, well, I'll explain why in a second. But it's quite a good idea in some ways, because the Nintendo actually had basically the same processor as the BBC. They both had a 6502, although I know the NES actually had a slightly modified one. And therefore, the sort of anti-game hanging features of the corruptor that try to keep the machine code interestingly corrupted but not completely knocking the system out should work, and in particular it should avoid hall top codes and things like that. So this is what I was doing. Now, the trouble with corrupting disk images is that obviously if you hit the disk catalog, it renders the disk unreadable, but that's easy enough because the disk catalog on BBC disks is always at the start. The other thing you've got to watch for, which is more of a problem, is basic files, because a lot of BBC games, as with a lot of 8-bit systems, they had basic loaders, and basic, if you corrupt that, will either not load, or it will throw up a syntax error or a no such variable error, which stops the game in its tracks. Because ultimately, machine code, if you corrupt it, provided you don't crash the system completely, you know, by messing up the stack or halting the processor, it will just keep blundering ahead as best it can, whereas basic is more like a managed environment, and it try to detect errors. So you don't want it to screw up basic. Although sometimes if you're lucky you can get away with it. So what you kind of have to do if you're doing disk images is to work out where in the disk the different files are. Now you may be saying, well, it'd be much easier, wouldn't it, to extract the files, the machine code files and the data files, corrupt them, and then put them back on the disk image. Yeah, but then I couldn't load them straight into the emulator. That's the trouble. It's quite a nice feature of Vinesource's corruptor that you can launch the emulator directly from the corruptor, so you can just keep twiddling with settings until you find something that works well, that produces a fun corruption. And I was experimenting particularly with Arcadians, the old Acornsoft game, which is it's basically like any number of Galaxian type games, and but it was quite fun to try various corruptions on that. I kept trying one until I found one that would actually cause the music to mess up in a creative way. Because it was very easy to find ones that would mess up the graphics or the text, but find one that would actually make the music get interesting, that was something else. But I did find one eventually. But yeah, that will probably be the next chain. I might rename it something like China or something, because that's an anagram of chain, just to I've glitched it or whatever. I don't know. I'm probably putting far too much thought into this. The other thing that I haven't done for a long time is Papers, Please. I think it's partly that I got so many games in Humble Bundles lately that I really haven't got round to playing them all. The other thing that's a problem is that when I'm recording that game, it's not the most exciting game in the world to me. Checking paperwork just... I mean, I'm sure that the storyline picks up eventually and it starts to get interesting, but right now, I'm finding it a little bit tedious. But we'll see what happens. Oh, my dogs are still making a racket in there. Right, so that's where we stand with this at the moment. Now, I'm hyper aware as well that in Crater City there's lots of other stuff happening elsewhere that I don't seem to have any part of because I'm ensconced in my little area here. I don't even see what's going on in the town. And to be perfectly honest, every time I'm on the server, nobody seems to be around, except for just when I logged in just now and there was Miguel and CQ. Then Grail 3 reset the server because it was using up tons of RAM, and suddenly I'm here on my own again. There, me on my own. It must be because I smell. So there we go. Well, that is the state of play at Area 51 as it stands right now. So thanks very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you again next time.